I added one new mechanic to my metroidvania, and somehow it let me expose a corrupt monkey president. 6 seconds to get political. That might be a new record. Welcome back to another devlog of Eclipseless, my Unity metroidvania. I was almost finished with the tutorial area, but something felt missing. The level worked mechanically, but the world still felt a little empty. So, I added a monkey village, a corrupt leader, a banana conspiracy, and a new mechanic inspired by Ace Attorney that completely changed how storytelling works in the game. In my game, you can possess various animals, and during the tutorial level, you only have one possession, which is the monkey. So naturally, if there are monkeys in the cave, they need somewhere to live, right? So I built the monkey village. Hey, we're not open, we're evacuating!
Let me out, I'm trying to evacuate!
No, I'm not interested in joining your religion, go away! And, at first, it was simple. Some houses, a few villagers, and when the player restores light to the area, the monkeys come out and the village feels alive again. But it still felt like decoration. It had characters, it had houses, it had monkeys, but it wasn't telling a story. It was missing a problem. And if there's one thing every peaceful village needs, it's government corruption. So of course, what better solution than to give the monkey village a president? And not just any president, a corrupt one. In the previous devlog, I showed the first boss, a monkey ballet dancer who turns into a gorilla. Very normal sentence even when you're missing context. During the fight, he's eating a potato, but in monkey society, this potato is known as a potassium-free banana, which is very different from a potato. Please respect their culture. That previous edition gave me the village's main conflict. Real bananas are not growing near the area, so the monkeys are starving. The president tells them that potatoes are actually potassium-free bananas, then sends everyone to grow them. But in reality, he's stealing all the actual bananas and keeping them for himself. Later on, you catch him, and instead of explaining himself, he bribes you with a banana. Because, in politics, you don't make any unnecessary enemies. You become the unnecessary enemy. And that's probably not how leadership works. Probably. And when it was starting to look like I was consuming some weird mushrooms, I came up with the actual mechanic I wanted. I'm a huge fan of the Ace Attorney trilogy, and one of the main mechanics of that game is collecting evidence and presenting it to the characters.
Objection!
Not just because it solves cases, but because it makes items feel meaningful. An item isn't just sitting in your inventory. It can change a conversation, it can reveal information, and it can move the story forward. So I started thinking, what if, in Eclipseless, the player could present items to the NPCs? Not just use items for puzzles, but show them to characters as proof. And suddenly, the inventory wasn't just a menu. It became a tool for storytelling. So to add this mechanic, I had to improve the dialogue. Before this, most conversations were just lines you skip through. But for this system, I needed conversations with choices, responses, and different outcomes. So I made dialogue options. This immediately made the world feel more alive because now the player isn't just listening, they're participating. And after I had that done, now I could build a presenting system. Since I already had an inventory, the idea was simple. Open the inventory during a conversation, select an item, and if that item matches the current situation, trigger a specific event. It also highlights the items you can present, because this game isn't a visual novel, so you can't just pause the game and think like in Ace Attorney. It had to be quicker. I used Unity events for this. Actually, an extension called Unity Events too. And honestly, this thing is becoming one of my favorite tools. It's even up there with Unity's particle system, in the category of I don't fully deserve you, but thank you for carrying my project. So once it worked in a test scene, I knew I had something important, because now almost any item in the game could become evidence. So now I added it in the actual level. Outside the president's treehouse, I added bodyguards. They guard the entrance, but they don't go inside, so they have no idea the president is hiding bananas. Very effective security. But now, the player has evidence. The monkey gave you a banana as a bribe, so now, if you present that banana to the guards, they realize something is wrong. At first, nothing dramatic happens, they just tell you they'll take care of it. So you leave, restore light to the area, and continue the level. But when you return to the village, things change. You're stopped before you try to exit. The guards come and announce what happened. The president tries to defend himself, claiming there's no proof, but it's too late. The guards have checked the treehouse, so they brought the evidence with them. And after everyone sees it, the president just runs. Which, historically, It's not a great way to look innocent. The villagers chase him, and you don't see exactly what happens next, but if you leave the room and come back, let's just say the monkeys have a very primitive justice system. But it works.
Disclaimer, Eclipseless and Penguinshell Studio do not intend to promote any political opinion. We just thought corrupt monkey banana crimes were funny, which I think is fair.
Jokes aside, this mechanic changes a lot of the game. Before, the player could only follow up the story. Now, the player can affect it. Not in a huge branching RPG way, at least not right now, but in small and meaningful moments. You can find an item, understand what it means, show it to the right character, and change what happens in the world. That's powerful, because it makes exploration more important. Now, a strange item isn't just something for later. It might be proof. It might unlock lore, it might change dialogue, it might reveal a secret. Heck, it could probably affect the ending of the game. And because Eclipseless already has possession, light restoration, and skill trees, this gives the game another layer. Not just mechanical progression, but narrative progression. So the lesson from this devlog is, sometimes one small mechanic can completely change how your game feels. And also, don't vote for the wrong guy for your country. The evidence system started as a simple idea, inspired by Ace Attorney, but now it gives the player more agency, makes NPCs more useful, and gives their world more personality. Also, it lets you overthrow a monkey president, which was not in the original design document. Mostly because there was no design document. So that's it for this devlog. If you want to see how the tutorial level got 2 boss fights, watch the previous devlog. And if you want to follow the development of Eclipseless, consider subscribing and activating notifications. Next time, I'll probably be fixing whatever this mechanic broke. So I guess that's it. Happy St. Patrick's Day, I guess.